Once you lay down onto your back, you can just kind of get comfortable. So take up a little bit of space in your mat. You can widen your legs to hip width. You can widen your arms to your sides. Let your eyes soften and close. And then let's take a nice breath in through the nose. Seal the lips, begin your Ujjayi breath. Again, bigger inhale. Gently seal the lips. Hear the breath as it exhales through the nose. And then find a pace and a depth that feels comfortable, that feels like it's not too much work. And then on your next breath in, breathe in completely. So imagine you're filling up all the way to your top chest. And then hold it at the top. Exhale, release just 1/3 of the breath and pause. Release 2/3 and pause. All the way empty. Hold on empty for a moment. And then again, inhale, fill up completely from the base of your pelvis all the way up to the top of your chest. Exhale, release just 1/3 and 2/3 and all the way empty. Pause on empty. And again, breathe in, fill up completely. Hold. 1/3 release. 2/3. All the way empty. And then go ahead and do 2 more rounds on your own. After your second round, breathe in completely. Smooth exhale through the nose, release everything. And settle back into your Ujjayi breath, whatever pace feels comfortable. Finding just enough narrowing at the base of the throat to hear your breath a little louder than your thoughts. And keeping your eyes closed, just bend your knees. Let your feet be as wide as your mat is, and let your knees start to sway from side to side. And once the legs get over to your right side, just let them stay there. And pick up your right foot and place it on top of your left thigh. And imagine pushing your thigh bone forward and slightly down. You can open your arms into a cactus and gaze over at your right arm. Gaze comes back to center. Keep your ankle crossed over your knee and then pick up the legs. So you're in like a figure 4, but wiggle the left foot over to the right side and then let the legs fall over to your left side. Then you can take your left hand into the inner thigh of the right leg and push forward. And then pull your right knee towards the mat. Come back to center. And then let's keep the ankle crossed over the knee and just bring the legs in towards you. You can grab either behind your left thigh or the front of your left shin. You might even take your right elbow and give your right inner thigh a little push. And take your time to release. Place the foot back down, uncross your legs. Bring the feet again to mat width. Sway the legs from side to side. And then we'll do the other side. Take the legs and let them fall to your left. Pick up your left foot and place it on top of your right thigh, and imagine pulling your thigh bone forward. So what that's doing is stretching your hip flexor, your psoas. You can open your arms into a cactus and look over at your left arm if that feels good. Gaze comes back to center. Keep the ankle over the knee as you pick up the legs. Wiggle your right foot to the left side of your mat and then let the legs fall to the right. Start with a push first. Right hand, left inner thigh. Give it a push forward. And then pull the knee towards the mat. So you're moving the stretch from your outer hip to your lower back. And then let go of the stretch. Bring your legs back to the center, but keep the ankle over the knee. You can wiggle the right foot underneath the knee. Bring the legs in towards you. And then grab either behind your right thigh, the front of your right shin. And feel free to add the little push of the left elbow into the left thigh. And then take your time to release the legs, uncross the legs and plant your feet down. Let the feet now be hip width apart and just an inch forward in front of your sit bones. And then press down into your feet to lift your hips for a bridge pose. Let it be not the highest bridge of your life, more like a medium bridge. Give your tailbone a nice scoop under so you lengthen your lower back. And if you can imagine sliding your feet towards your bottom, try and do that. Without actually moving your feet though. And then take your time, lower the hips all the way back down. Bring your knees into your chest and give them a squeeze. Rock a little from side to side or draw one circle on your lower back in one direction and then the other. And then start to rock and roll your way up. 1, 2, 3 times. Get yourself to hands and knees. The palms are right underneath your shoulders and the knees are right underneath your hips. Take a big breath as the belly drops and the chest lifts. Exhale, draw the belly in and round your back. A couple more rounds just like that. Simple cat-cow. Inhale, open, and exhale, round. And then come back to a place in the middle of those two shapes. Move the right palm underneath your nose. Take your left arm up towards the ceiling and then big open stretch. Exhale to thread the needle. Thread the arm underneath your shoulder. Drop your head down. And then let's press the right palm into your mat to twist upwards. If it would feel good to take your top arm and wrap it behind your back, feel free to do so. But try and get the stretch in your shoulder blades, in between the shoulder blades, in your upper back, and a little bit in the rib cage. Take your time to replace the right hand down to the mat, unravel completely, reach the left arm all the way towards the sky. And then release and switch. The left hand comes under the nose, the right arm reaches upwards. Exhale, big, thread of the needle, drop the shoulder and the head. Press the left hand down to twist upwards. And feel free to add the half bind of your top arm. Imagine rolling yourself a little bit backwards to pull the space between the shoulder blades open. Imagine the back of the heart creating space. One more breath. Top hand comes back to the mat if it's not already there. Unravel completely. Lift the arm towards the sky. And release. Two hands come back to your mat. Let your toes tuck under and then pull the belly in a lot, but keep the spine really long. Tuck your toes and let the knees just hover off of your mat. Imagine firming the belly on all sides. We're breathing here just for 3, just for 2, and 1. Lift your bottom towards the ceiling and then straighten your legs any amount to downward facing dog. Once you get there, go ahead and pedal your feet out. One heel down, bend your opposite knee. Move back and forth with your breath. Inhale as both heels rise, come up to your tippy toes, bend your knees. Either hop your way forward or walk your way forward. The feet come to your hands. Come up halfway, reach the chest forward through the arms. Exhale, fold and round back into your legs. Soften your knees, rise all the way up to stand. Take your arms overhead. Exhale, gather your hands to your heart space. Inhale, big stretch upwards, grow long and tall. Exhale, big hinge forwards. Inhale, come up halfway, reach the chest forward and through. And then exhale to your vinyasa. The hands come down and the feet step back. Lower through chaturanga with or without the knees on your mat. Breathe in any amount of lift in your chest, whatever you're ready for. Exhale, the hips rise as you press back, downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath here. Bottom of your third, lift the heels and bend your knees. Hop or walk, feet come forward. Halfway up, lift and lengthen. Fold and exhale. Rise and stand, inhale. Gather at your heart, exhale. And 2 more, inhale, lift, reach up. Exhale, fold. Halfway up, breathe in. And vinyasa, exhale, hands down, feet back, lower through with or without the knees on your mat. Any amount of lift in your chest, all the way back to downward facing dog. 3 rounds of breath, let them be smooth and effortless. Bottom of the third, lift your heels, bend your knees, hop or walk, feet forward. Halfway up, lengthen, fold, exhale. Rise and stand, inhale. Gather together, exhale. And 1 more time to downward facing dog, breathe in and lift. Exhale and fold. Halfway up, inhale. And vinyasa, exhale. Breathe in, lift and open. Exhale, press all the way back. Once you find downward facing dog, take an inhale as we lift both heels nice and high. Swivel the heels to your right side. So your toes are facing the left, the heels are to the right, and then press your left hip back and up. Inhale as both heels rise and switch sides. The heels go to the left, the toes go to the right, and then the right hip presses back and up. Inhale as the heels rise, come back to center. Bend your knees and then hop or walk, feet come forward. Halfway up, breathe it in and fold, exhale. Rise and stand, inhale. And gather together, exhale. Reach both arms upwards, inhale. Right arm drops down, big side bend over. And then in this shape, imagine pressing your left foot down strongly. And then if you'd like to add a little bit of an inward rotation, that'll get a little bit more lower side back. Return the torso to center, rise back up, two arms reach. Left arm drops down, big side bend over. And so you're going to the left, so you're pressing down through the right foot strongly. If you went for the low back stretch on the other side, it's a slight turn inward, like you're reaching at a diagonal. Inhale, return the torso to center, rise, two arms lift. And exhale, reach back and interlace your fingers behind your body. So try and bend your elbows up so that you can close the gap totally behind your palm or behind your back. And then start to straighten your arms from there. So you're pulling the chest wide, you're opening up the shoulders, lift your gaze, soften your knees quite a bit, and then you fold. So the more you try and keep those palms together, the deeper the stretch will be across the front of your chest and in your shoulders. Soften your knees, rise all the way back up, and then take both hands over to your left hip. Squeeze the elbows behind you, and then your head goes over to the left side too. Return your head back to center. Straighten your arms straight back behind you. Find Utkatasana chair pose, bend both knees. So be sure that the belly pulls in quite a bit so your lower back stays long and stays supported. Release the hands from behind you. Take two arms and reach them up. Exhale, sit 1 inch lower from the tops of your thighs. Can you reach 1 inch higher through the fingertips? And then 1 inch lower from the legs. And then one more time, 1 inch higher through the arms, 1 inch lower from the legs, and then you just hold, breathe in, breathe out. Press all the way to stand, and then reach back. Interlace your fingers, but go the second favorite way. So your weird thumb crosses over. And then same as before, bend your elbows, close the gap between the hands, and then try and bring the arms back as much as you can. Straighten the arms from there. Inhale, chest is lifted. And then exhale, soften the knees quite a bit, and then fold. So you're trying to keep that palm to palm connection as much as you can, lifting the palms off of your bottom any amount. No need to completely straighten out your legs. You'll probably still feel sensation with the bent knees. Take one more breath in this shape. Keep the knees soft, rise all the way back up into chair pose. Bend both knees. Actually, no, sorry, I got excited. Stand tall and then bring both hands to the other hip. It should be the right hip, thank you. Elbows come towards one another and then the head goes to the right side. If you guys don't know, chair pose is my favorite pose. Yeah, in a real chair. It's not the same. Bring your head back to center and then re-straighten your arms. And then chair pose. Release the hands, reach them all the way up. Sit yourself down. So I have my feet about hip width apart. Go ahead and do that. And then imagine lifting the inner arches of your feet a little. And so without actually moving your feet, try and slide your feet out to the width of your mat. And what that's going to do is that's going to activate your outer hips and thighs. Okay, inhale, lengthen your fingertips a little bit more. And then exhale that 1 inch lower from your legs. Keep sliding the feet. Don't actually move them again. Inhale 1 inch longer through the fingertips. Exhale 1 inch lower from the thighs. One more time, inhale. Slide the feet wide, exhale. Hold it, one full breath in, one deep breath out. Straighten your legs and fold. Halfway up, breathe in. Bend your knees, hands come down. The right foot's gonna, the left foot's gonna step back. Keep your back knee lifted, keep your back heel lifted, and let's come up for crescent lunge. So we'll steer the hips forward, and here's another opportunity to really drop the tail and firm the belly in to protect the back. Reach 2 arms up overhead, inhale. Exhale, drop your back knee almost to the mat, but not quite. Hands to your heart as they do. Inhale, re-straighten your back leg, reach your arms high. Exhale again, come down. Inhale, reach up, lengthen. Exhale. One more time, breathe in and exhale, and then you hold. Come down a little lower and a little lower, and then all the way to the mat with the knee. Straighten your front leg and come to a half splits. So if you need extra padding for your knee, feel free to fold it up long ways like this, just to support the knee. Okay, so in a half splits, pick up your toes. And then notice if the tendency is to round the back, can you lengthen the chest forward, send your tailbone back. One more breath here. Bend your front knee quite a bit so your hips sink forward. The hands come in front of the toes slightly, but the knee stays over the ankle. The hands come down, and you'll step your right knee back to meet your left knee, so you are on your knees. So instead of chaturanga, chin, chest, and shoulders, you'll bend your elbows and bring your chin and your chest, maybe your shoulders, to the mat. And then slide yourself forward into a cobra pose. So cobra can be a little cobra like this, or a bigger cobra. Child's pose. Lift your hips and sit them back over your heels. Arms are reaching forward. Take a breath. Downward facing dog. Tuck your toes where they are. Lift your hips. Up you go. One full breath. Inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, hop or walk, feet come forward. Halfway up, breathe in and lengthen, and fold, exhale. Rise and stand, inhale. And gather your hands together, exhale. Okay, so again, feet are about hip width. So hip width is the sit bones that you have, or the hip bones, and all 10 of your toes face forward if possible. Bend your knees, sit back into that chair pose, arms are reaching. But do the thing where you're sliding your feet out to the widths of your mats, but try not to actually move the feet. And then as you lengthen, instead of it coming from your fingertips, let it come from your lats and from your obliques. Breathe space in between each rib. Lengthen, and then lower from the tops of your legs. Just 2 breaths. Inhale, a little longer through your side bodies. Exhale, a little lower in your legs. One more breath, inhale, exhale, straighten your legs and fold. Halfway up, breathe in, and then the left foot's gonna stay and the right foot steps back. So we're coming to crescent lunge here. Keep the back heel lifted, keep your back knee lifted, and rise. 2 arms reach up. Take the opportunity to really firm the belly, not just here, but all the way around. Lengthen, breathe in, and then exhale. Almost drop the knee to the mat, but not all the way. Inhale, back knee up a little bit, leg straightens. Exhale, come down. Again, inhale, exhale. 2 more, breathe in and out. 1 more. And out and hold. Get a little bit lower, and then all the way down. Remember, you can fold your mat up long ways to give yourself a little extra padding. Go to half splits. The hands come down and you straighten your front leg, pick up your toes. Notice if your tendency is to round your back, can you find a little more length? Give the stretch to the whole back side of the body. 2 more breaths in this shape before we bend the knee. Re-bend your front knee, sink the hips forward towards the mat. So as far forward as they can comfortably go. The hands can go just slightly forward of the toes. Just make sure that the knee stays over the ankle. And let's plant the palms completely. Back out enough so that you can bring the left knee to meet your right knee. Chin, chest, and shoulders to your mat. Slither yourself through to a cobra, little, medium, or big. Child's pose, hips rise, sit back over your heels, arms come forward. Downward facing dog, toes tuck under, hips lift. 2 rounds of breath. Inhale, lift your right leg towards the sky, bend your knee, open your hip. Do a little bit of wiggling for your toes, your ankles, and if it feels good to move the knee around, do that as well. Take an exhale to square your hip and step your foot forward and through between your hands again. So your back knee again stays lifted, and so does your back heel. Come back up to crescent lunge. Reach both arms towards the sky. This time a cactus, bend your elbows. Think about broadening through your chest. Think about squeezing your shoulders behind you. Get a little more space. Inhale, re-straighten both arms, and then swivel your back heel down and come to warrior 2 legs. So the front heel lines with either your back arch or your back heel. Letitia, I would step forward with your front foot a little bit. Yeah, take up a little more space. Good. Breathe in. Sink a little lower in the legs. Breathe out. Keep the depth of your thighs. Reverse the arms. The right arm comes up. The left arm comes down. Big side stretch. Try not to lose the bend in the front knee. Try not to lose the work in your base. And then reach forward a whole lot with your right arm, and then place the right arm on the inside of the right leg. If you have a block, feel free to place it underneath the hand. If not, the hand goes there. The left arm reaches towards the sky for what we call hot triangle. Take a half bind. Your top arm will wrap behind your back. And then you can do a little neck stretch here. Bring your chin down to your right shoulder and tuck it in to get the back of the neck stretch. If you need more front of the neck stretch, lift your chin towards the ceiling. So feel free to play with the gaze for another breath. Find what feels good. Gaze comes back to center. Free the top arm up towards the ceiling. Inhale. Rise to warrior 2. Exhale. Straighten your front leg and then bend your back leg and sit into Skandasana. So option 1 here is a side lunge. 2, it's going to come all the way down into a squat. You'll lift your bottom heel and your right toes. Good. If it's going well, you'll bring the hands to your heart. Perfect. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more time. Either stay low with the hands on your mat or stay with the hands at your heart. Shift over to the other side. The right knee bends and the left leg goes straight. Again, the options to have the side lunge if that feels more stable. Try to engage your right leg so that we don't lock the knee. You have one more breath where you are. Release the hands to your mat and then spin everything to face the front of your mat so you're framing your front leg with 2 hands. So you're back in that low lunge place. And then step back. High plank pose. Hold here. You're welcome to place your knees on your mat or keep them lifted. You have 3 breaths in plank. Firm the belly on all sides. And 2. And 3. Lower all the way to your belly. Untuck your toes, and then let's lift either for a medium or a high cobra. So either way, you want to have the thigh bones down onto your mat, and then let that dictate how far you go. Soften your lower back. Draw the tailbone under. And then pick up your shoulders, pull them back and down away from the ears. Relax. Breathe in. And then lower. Tuck your toes. Press straight to plank. Again, you can do this on your knees or all the way off your knees. Downward facing dog. Press all the way back. 2 rounds of breath. And then lift your left leg. Bend your knee, open up your hip, do the wiggling of your toes, your ankles, and your knees. Let everything kind of move around. Square your hip and step your foot all the way forward and through between your hands. Your back heel is lifted, so is your back knee. Steer your hips towards the front of your mat. Take 2 arms, reach them up overhead. So same as before, we're trying to find as much length in the lower back as you can. Bend your elbows, find that cactus shape. Let the cactus or the back bend come from your ribs up. Squeeze the shoulders together, open the chest. Inhale, re-straighten both arms, and then exhale for warrior 2 legs. Swivel the heel down, and again, it's the front heel that lines with the back, either arch or heel. Open the arms wide. Breathe in. Can you go a little lower from the legs? 1 more breath to find your depth. Breathe in. A little bit lower. And then we're holding the legs as they are. Reverse your arms. Take the left arm up, and the right arm comes down. Try not to lose the depth of your thighs. Big breath in. And then reach forward a lot. Place the hand on the inside of your leg. If you have a block, that's a great place to put it. If not, the hand is there. Take your top arm overhead. Half bind your top arm. Wrap it back behind your back and pull your top shoulder open. And then play with the angle at the neck. You can bring your chin into your bottom shoulder. You can lift your chin up towards the ceiling to get more front of neck. Take 2 rounds of breath here. Gaze comes back to center with the head. Free the top arm back towards the sky. Inhale as you rise back to warrior 2. Skandasana or side lunge towards the back of your mat. So it's the right leg that bends, the left leg that straightens. Option 1 is here, side lunge. Option 2 is down, a little lower. So work wherever your body feels it needs the work. That can be more opening, that can be more balancing. However you want to switch, hands are down or they're lifted, switch to the other side. Try and do something similar that you did on the other side on this side. Find the work, study the breath. Release. The hands come down first, and then spin everything to face the front of your mat. You're in a lunge. Step left foot back to meet your right. You're in plank, on or off of your knees. 3 rounds of breath before we lower. Inhale. Firm the belly on all sides. Exhale. 2 more. Breathe in. And out. A little more. Breathe in, chest comes forward. If you can, keep the belly in, and then you lower. Come all the way down onto your mat. Untuck your toes. I like my feet to be hip width for any of the back bend shapes, so give that a try. Press all the toenails down, so the big toes and the pinky toes are flat. Hands are in line with the ribs. Take an inhale, lift for your cobra. So medium or big. Thigh bones stay down. Shoulders stay pulled away from the ears and hugged into their sockets. Strengthen the muscles in your upper back. Take one more breath. Lower yourself all the way back down. And then go ahead and make a pillow for your hands. And then you can rest your chin onto your hands. Bend your knees, flex your feet. And then do the thing that we've been doing with that scoop of the tail, the belly pulls in. Keep that belly engaged as much as it can be as you press your feet up towards the ceiling. Notice that there's a space that you stop working the belly and you start pushing a little bit more with your back. Try and stop before you hit that spot. So we're looking for work. Where are we feeling this? If you're keeping the belly engaged, where did you feel it?
Belly.
In your belly, yeah, in your belly. Where else?
I feel it in my thighs.
Good. Yep. In your thighs, in your booty, just not the lower back. That's what we're looking for. Can you push one entire up without losing that work? And then lower the legs down. Straighten the legs, hands in line with the chest. Press up and back to child's pose. In child's pose, take your left arm and thread it underneath your right. Back to center with both arms and switch. And then back to center with both arms. Downward facing dog, let your toes tuck under, let your hips rise. Inhale as the heels rise, bend your knees. Hop or walk, feet forward to the hands. Halfway up, breathe in and fold. Rise and stand, inhale. Gather at your heart space, exhale. So if you have blocks, you can place them at the front of your mat. If you don't have blocks, no worries. And so sit your feet to about that hip width apart. So find where your hip bones are and let the feet be just that wide. A little closer, Katie. And then bend your knees, sit back into that chair space. So before we do anything else, find the same work of the outer thighs. So slide your feet out as wide as they can go, but don't actually let the feet move. Engage those outer legs. Now here's the tricky part. You want to keep both legs engaged as you pick up the right leg. Take your ankle over your knee. Sit lower into the chair. So we're all fairly close to something nearby. If you need support, use the ledges or the walls. Sit a little bit lower from the tops of your legs. You're holding this figure four chair just for one more breath in, one more breath out. Reach forward and come down. The hands can come to the mat or to your blocks. Bend your standing leg as much as you need to get to a comfortable space. All right. See if you can bend your standing leg just a little bit more to deepen the stretch in your outer hip and glute on your right side. Okay, to come out, we're bringing the hands back to the heart first. Come back to the one-legged chair. So you still have a strong bend in your left leg. You're lifting your right, hold. Place both feet down. You're back in that same chair. Slide your feet, engage your outer legs, and then press all the way to stand. If you need to do a little bit of like beating of your booty, you can. All right, second side. Bend both knees, back into that chair pose. So again, all of your toes are facing forward. Equal balance between inner and outer arches. Slide your feet wide. Outer hips and thighs are engaged. Reach both arms towards the sky. All the work stays in the right leg. Lift your left. So you're in a one-legged chair pose. Hold it, breathe. And then figure four. The ankle comes over the knee. So we're going to try and keep the arms lifted for a few rounds of breath. Bring your weight into your heel and sit down. Keep the work of the outer thighs as much as you can. Use support of the wall or the ledge or anything that's nearby you if needed. Can you go 1 inch lower from the tops of your legs? And then reach forward to come down to the mat with your hands or your blocks. So we're moving this work from a work and a challenge to a stretch and a release. So you want the hands to come to somewhere where they're comfortable so that you can start to bend your standing leg any amount and deepen the stretch in your outer left hip and thigh. It's helpful to keep your left foot flexed. That'll protect your ankle and your knee joint. 2 more rounds of breath. Stay steady. Inhale, pick up your chest first. Hands move to your heart. And then that one-legged chair pose. So all the same work on your standing leg. Pick up the leg, hold it. Full chair, go right into the same work of the outer thighs. Give them a slide. And then inhale, press to stand. Give them a little shake, a little bit of a wiggle, give it a beat if you need it. And then take an inhale, lift both arms, reach up. Exhale as you fold. Halfway up, breathe in. Exhale, the palms plant down, you step back and you lower down to your belly again. So on your belly, you'll widen your arms to that cactus shape, bend your knees. Before you lift everything, just lift the legs again. So the feet are really flexed. Push your feet upwards without letting go of the belly work. So you're feeling the booty, the legs, and the belly. Without losing anything, lift your upper body. Squeeze the shoulders back behind you. Broaden through the chest as much as you can. 3 rounds of breath. Lower everything down, look over to one side, whichever side you feel like is next, and then do a soft sway from side to side with your legs. Legs come back to center. So if you're enjoying that pose that we just did, you can do that one again. If you want a little bit more, reach back and grab a hold of your ankles. It's the same work though. So imagine flexing your feet, push your feet up while keeping the belly engaged, and then lift your chest. Think about the chest opening, the shoulders squeezing together. And then only lift the legs as high as you can without letting the belly go, without scrunching your lower back. You have 1 more breath. Lower everything down. Look over to whatever side feels like it would be next. Do a soft sway from side to side with your legs. And then straighten your legs, pick your body up, come back into a child's pose. This time in child's pose, walk your hands a little further forward. Let the palms come together. Bend your elbows so the thumbs come to the base of your skull. Re-straighten your arms. And then go ahead and rise up to your knees. So we'll do a camel pose. You'll have the knees about 2 fists width apart. What's that? Oh, no worries. So 2 fists width apart and then rise up. And then do the same thing that you've been working on where you draw the tailbone, lengthen your lower back, firm the belly in. The hands come to your lowest rib and imagine lifting and then bending back over that lowest rib. If that feels like enough work, you're going to stick with this pose. If you're going a little further, you'll reach the hands to your bottom, to just below the bottom on the thighs, or let's tuck the toes under and bring the hands to the heels. Breathe into your side ribs. Exhale. Firm the belly to rise all the way back up and then have a seat back over your heels. Do a baby twist over to your right side, left hand, right thigh. Switch, right hand, left thigh. And then come back to center. We'll do that one again. Rise up, same spot. So 2 fists width apart, so it's about hip width. And then drop the tailbone and firm the belly. So here, I like to start my hands at my lowest rib. And so that kind of reminds me that everything below that stays down and neutral. Everything above that is what bends back. Lift your chest. Start to bend back. If your hands end up on your lower back or on your thigh, you might free the right arm and reach it up and back. Try not to spin the chest in one direction or the other. Keep everything facing forward. Bring the right hand to your heart and then firm the belly to rise. The left hand comes to your heart. And so just think about drawing the belly in, condensing everything into your center. Drop your tailbone down. And then one more time, third round. Come up onto your knees. Again, reset the lowest part of your belly. Lift from the top ribs, up, 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 and then you bend back. And then start with the hands, lowering down slowly, one step at a time. Once you feel stable, if you're ready, free the left arm. It reaches up and back. Try to resist the urge to spin to one side or the other. Keep chest, shoulders, and hips all facing forward. One more breath, breathe into your sides. Left hand to your heart. Firm the belly, have a seat. Right hand to your heart as well. Again, everything condenses in. Draw the belly in. Then you'll just have a seat over to one hip. Bring the legs around. You'll bend your right knee and send your left leg straight. And then we'll take the right foot to the outside of your left thigh and sink both sit bones down. Inhale, lift, and then turn towards your right leg. You can hug the knee in towards your chest or bring the elbow all the way to the outside of your thigh. Find a little more length with your inhale, a little bit more rotation with your exhale. Again, inhale and exhale. Unravel, come all the way to center. Let's keep the legs as they are and rotate the other way. If it would feel good to drop your back forearm down, you can drop the back forearm and lift your right arm up overhead. And then come all the way back to center, rise. And then one more time, figure four, open the knee to the side. Flex your foot, or both feet actually. And then lift and any amount of lean forward. So again, this is one of those poses where the body likes to cheat and round the back. Makes it a little bit easier on the body. Try and find as much length as you can before you fold. Lift the chest, come back to upright seat. Take the hands back behind you. Fingertips are facing your bottom. Bend your left knee and plant the foot flat. So if this feels like enough, you're just going to stay here and lift your chest. If you're feeling a little more open, you can shift your weight forward a bit and pick up your hips into what would be a Purvottanasana variation. Let the hips come all the way back down. Uncross your legs, let them go straight and wiggle them a little from side to side. And then we'll start again on the other side. So this time it's going to be the left leg that bends. The right leg is going to be straight. You can keep the foot on the inside of the leg or take it to the outside. Inhale, sit up very straight and tall, and exhale, turn over your left leg to your left side. Hug your knee or bring the elbow to the outside of the thigh, your choice. Unravel and then twist the other way. So the legs are going to stay. You just rotate the other direction. And then if that feels really good, you can drop your right forearm down, take your left arm up. And then rise, come all the way back up. Open your knee to the side. Flex both feet, sit up tall, and then any amount of lean or fold. And if you have the ability to take the round and collapse out of your back, do so. Take your time to rise all the way back up. Plant your hands behind you. Fingertips face your bottom or give them a slight turn out if that's more comfortable. Bend your right knee and you can stay right here with the chest lifting or take it one step further, push into your right foot to lift your hips. Then let the hips come all the way back down and then just start to straighten your bottom leg, straighten your front leg, and then give them a little bit of a wiggle and shake. All right, the legs come forward. Make sure you have enough room to lay yourself down onto your back. Bend your knees. And then I'd like to do one round of core work. So this helps me whenever I have lower back stuff going on, is to really engage like the deep core muscles, which are called your transverse abdominis. So from here, you can do this with your feet on the ground. We'll start with that. That's level 1. The hands come to your thighs. The heels of the hands are right at the tops of the thighs. Push your hands into your legs. Let your legs resist and push back, and push your lower back into the mat. Let it go, and then lift your legs up to a tabletop. Squeeze the thighs together, and then give your tailbone again that scoop so you flatten the lower back on your mat. Same thing, heels of the hands high up onto the thighs. Push hands into legs, legs into hands. Flatten the lower back. Breathe in, breathe out. 2 more breaths. Imagine that deep core muscle engaging. You have 1 more breath here. And then release. Gently release everything down. Sway the legs a little from side to side. We're going to do that 1 more time. And then the legs will come back up. Come to that tabletop shape. Squeeze the thighs together. Hands onto your thighs. And then push. Hands into legs, legs into hands, back into mat. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. A little bit more engaged. Breathe out. 1 more breath. And then release. The feet come down. Let them be wide. Let the legs sway from side to side. Once the legs fall over to your right side, let them stay. And then do your favorite version of a twist. So if you enjoyed that ankle over knee pull forward that we did earlier, then you can do that one again. If you prefer to wrap the legs or cross the legs, feel free to do those instead. Let it go, come back to center. Again, separate your feet, do a little bit of windshield wipering with the legs, and then we'll take the twist over to the left side. The legs can fall to your left, and then either ankle over knee pull, or do the wrap or twist, whatever you did on the other side. And come back to center. Again, widen your feet, do a little bit of wiggling and shaking. Okay, let's take one back bend of your choice. So option one will be a simple bridge. The feet come pretty close to your bottom, all the toes facing forward. The hands are by your side and we'll lift the hips. Same things apply though, that you've been working on the lower back stays really long, the belly stays in. It creates like an airbag effect for your lower back. If you're dying for a wheel pose, plant your hands on either sides of your ears, pick up your hips, come to the crown of your head first and then all the way to straight arms. Same rules apply, tailbone is under, lower back is long. Take your time to come all the way down. If you're coming down from wheel, tuck your chin in first and roll through the spine. If you're coming from bridge, release the hands by your side, lower one vertebrae at a time. Again, one more time, the feet go wide and the legs sway from side to side like windshield wipers. And then let the feet stay wide. So they're wide about mat width, and then let them come together. So the knees are touching. Imagine sliding the knees forward. Separate the knees, bring your feet together, let your knees go wide into a butterfly or Baddha Konasana on your back. Now if this pose makes you happy, you can stay right here. If there's another shape that you would like to rest in, you can go ahead and move in that direction. So some may prefer the legs together, some may prefer the legs straight. If you're near a wall at home, if you want to do legs up the wall, that's really nice as well. Let your eyes soften and close. Before you let go of the breath entirely, come back to that smooth, even breath in, even breath out. And then keep the balance of the breath, but let go of the conscious effort of it. Breath becomes easy and peaceful. The body follows. And then lastly, the mind. Slowly start to bring your awareness back to your breath and to your body. Wiggle fingers and toes. If your legs are wide, go ahead and bring the legs together into your chest. And then roll over to one side, your favorite side. Take your time to find a comfortable seat. Your eyes can stay closed. The hands move to your heart space. Let the thumbs tap the center of your heart and then to your third eye. Thank you all so much for joining me, for sharing your beautiful energy and your beautiful practice. It's truly my honor to guide you. Namaste.